Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tearing down the old agricultural playbook and looking at a strategic blueprint from our sources on how to transform even the smallest spaces into incredibly high-margin agricultural assets. If you've ever looked at farming and just assumed it was only for folks with thousands of acres and millions of dollars tied up in heavy machinery, you are absolutely going to want to pay close attention. We're diving into a totally different world today. A world where everyday growers are quietly pulling in staggering margins from plants that, let's be honest, most people have never even heard of. Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to hit the specialty crop secret, dive into the wellness and skincare cash cow, explore the culinary premium, look at some unconventional high-yield markets, and finally, wrap it up with how to actually win the specialty game. Let's get right into it. Section 1. The specialty crop secret. Grow the right plants. To really get this, we have to talk about the fundamental flaw in traditional large-scale farming. Usually, the assumption is that if a farmer isn't making money, they must have bad land or they're just stuck in a tough market. But the source material points to a completely different reality. They are simply growing the wrong plants. While most farmers are stuck in this grueling race to the bottom, competing over commodity crops like corn and soybeans with razor-thin margins on massive acreage, a really smart small group is quietly cashing in. They're growing specialty plants that compete on knowledge, pulling in $40 to $80 a pound, and they're doing it in a footprint that could literally fit in a backyard or a small greenhouse. You aren't competing on volume, you're competing on positioning. Section 2. Wellness and Skincare Cash, the multi-million boom. So before we look at specific crops, we absolutely must understand adaptogens. Essentially, these are botanical supplements that help the body manage stress and regulate hormonal responses. And let me tell you, modern wellness consumers are going crazy for them. We live in an era of chronic, inescapable stress, right? People are exhausted, sleep-deprived, and actively hunting for natural solutions without pharmaceutical side effects. When a plant offers ancient credibility combined with modern clinical validation, the natural health market consistently rewards it with a massive premium. And just look at the premium pricing these plants command. Domestic supplement brands are practically begging for traceable, organic alternatives to cheap overseas imports. You've got lemon balm fetching $20 to $40 a pound for stress relief teas and tinctures. Tulsi, which used to just be a sacred Ayurvedic herb, is now a hero ingredient in functional wellness teas, commanding $20 to $45 a pound. Then there's moringa, the miracle tree, generating $20 to $40 a pound for nutrient-dense, direct-to-consumer wellness brands. But the real standout is ashwagandha, commanding anywhere from $25 all the way up to $60 a pound for stress and cortisol supplements. Now, that premium price tag comes with a bit of a catch, but it's a catch that actually serves as a huge advantage. You might hear that ashwagandha takes 18 to 24 months to grow and think, well, that's a deal breaker. Actually, scratch that. It is a strategic filter. That long wait time keeps your competition incredibly low while the root quietly matures into a high-value asset in the ground. Most growers get impatient and jump to something that turns over faster. But if you pair ashwagandha with faster-yielding plants, it becomes this amazing background asset. That barrier to entry is exactly why those high margins stay completely intact for the growers who are willing to play the long game. And then there's calendula. This is a cheerful little orange flower with incredible anti-inflammatory properties, and the exit routes for selling it are just incredibly flexible. The clean beauty market is absolutely exploding right now. You aren't locked into just one buyer. You can sell wholesale bulk to large manufacturers, you can target the booming community of indie skincare and soap makers, or you can even create your own value-added infused oils and salves. If you pick it often and dry it carefully on low heat to preserve that striking orange color, you position yourself at the very top of the market. Section 3. The Culinary Premium. High-Demand Staples. All right, let's shift our focus from the medicine cabinet to the kitchen. We aren't talking about your standard garden variety herbs here. These are high-demand culinary staples with incredibly specific buyer pools that completely bypass the generic spice aisle. Take fenugreek, pulling $15 to $30 a pound. It has this rare market insulation because it serves a double market, both ethnic restaurants and the supplement industry. Then you've got stevia. This isn't about industrial white powder packets. This is about zero-calorie whole leaves for craft teas and co-ops, fetching $20 to $40 a pound. But the undisputed king of this culinary list? Sichuan pepper, pulling an unbelievable $40 to $80 a pound. To understand why Sichuan pepper is at the very top of that pricing tier, you have to understand something called the mala sensation. It's not your traditional spicy heat like a jalapeno. It's a totally unique, numbing and tingling sensory experience on the tongue,
produced by hydroxy-alpha-sensual compounds. High-end restaurants and adventurous home cooks are literally building entire dishes around the specific sensation, and there is absolutely no substitute for it.
Now here is the kicker. Because those tingling compounds are highly volatile, they degrade heavily during long overseas shipping. That rapid degradation is exactly why high-end chefs are willing to shell out up to $80 a pound for the unbeatable potency of fresh, domestically grown Sichuan pepper. A chef who has tasted the difference between peppercorns that sat in a shipping container for a month versus ones harvested and delivered within days, they'll pay that premium without a second thought. And the craziest part? This crop actually thrives in USDA hardiness zones 5 through 9. It grows beautifully across a huge portion of North America. The barrier isn't the climate, it's just a lack of growers attempting it. Section 4, Unconventional High-Yield Markets, Hyper Niche Returns. Okay, let's step completely outside the conventional agricultural playbook. If you want to see where thinking differently really pays off, never underestimate the multi-billion-dollar pet industry. Pet owners will happily pay $30 to $60 a pound for fresh, organic, premium catnip. These organic buyers are highly price insensitive. People are reading ingredient labels for their pets just as closely as they do for their own groceries nowadays. There's a massive quality gap between fresh, potent catnip and the cheap, inert commercial bulk fillers used in mass-market toys. Plus, it's a vigorous perennial, so you plant it once and harvest it for years, targeting high-end boutiques and subscription boxes. Let's pivot to aquaculture for a second and look at this wild number, 24 to 48 hours. We are talking about duckweed. This is a plant heavily researched by NASA, and it's literally the fastest growing plant on the planet. It can double its total biomass in just 1 to 2 days in shallow tanks. That is explosive growth. You don't even grow this in a field. You grow it in shallow ponds or tanks, making the space efficiency absolutely off the charts. And to put that into perspective, look at the protein content. By dry weight, duckweed packs about 40 to 45% protein. The global agricultural standard, soybeans, sits around 35%. You instantly see why animal feed researchers are adopting this closed-loop, highly efficient crop. The research dollars are pouring in. Some really innovative commercial growers are even pairing duckweed with tilapia tanks, using the fish waste as fertilizer and the duckweed as high-protein fish feed. It drastically cuts input costs while giving you 2 highly sellable products from one tiny footprint, a real game changer. Section 5, Winning the Specialty Game, Core Business Strategy. Now that we've analyzed the plants, let's extract the core business strategy here, because growing the plant is only half the battle. This quote from the source material hits the nail on the head. You don't need to be the biggest producer. You need to understand your crop better than the next grower. That is the paradigm shift. A 2-acre operation can absolutely outperform a 200-acre commodity farm if you leverage information and build direct buyer relationships. You don't win by having the most land. You win by solving a specific sourcing problem for a premium buyer. Ultimately, you aren't competing on price. You are competing structurally. Overseas commodities are notorious for degraded potency, low traceability, and long transit times. But a domestic specialty grower, you can offer a 2-day delivery window, a perfectly clean, verifiable origin story, and fully preserved active compounds. When a wellness brand relies on transparency or a chef relies on volatile aromatics, proximity and story aren't just nice-to-haves. They are the defining features of your product. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want you to consider your own climate and your own footprint. Ask yourself, which of these high-margin plants makes sense for your space, and what is genuinely standing between you and starting? The window of opportunity where domestic supply is this incredibly thin isn't going to stay open forever. The knowledge is out there. The buyers are waiting. So, what is your next move going to be?